Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Now, I forgot to film an intro for this, so I am doing a bit of a voiceover instead. Now, the premise of this video is we're heading up to the Pouto lighthouse via the 4x4 Outdoor Expo. From there, we're going to be carrying further up north, but that will be in the next video. So, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll cut straight to it. We start our adventure off up in Kumu at the 4x4 Outdoor Expo. Now this expo has some of New Zealand's biggest and cleanest rigs, as well as vendors, 4-drive groups, and all sorts, even buggy racing apparently. Now this is a pretty cool event. There's heaps for you to do, heaps of interactive stuff, prizes, vendors. You can just go around and spend all the money that you could possibly want to spend. Another thing we found is that NZ Lithium stand where they had a build a battery competition. Now when we first started this, we were at, I don't know, minute 40, minute 30, and over time we just sort of thought about it and got it down to a bit of a knack. I believe we got it down to 18 seconds, as you can see Dylan doing here, but we were here for hours just going on and on and on. It was pretty good fun. Another thing I highly recommend is getting a camping ticket and staying on site. It's a good bit of fun. There's so many good people around, heaps of piss-ups. It's just awesome. Anywho, it's now time to leave the expo and head up north. On the highway, we actually had a bit of a smoky smell coming from the cabin until the cabin literally filled up with smoke. Turns out my inverter had just had a loose connection, we're not too sure, but yeah, it started melting itself and then melting the wire, so we quickly pulled over, went to grab a fire extinguisher, didn't have a fire extinguisher, so I just took the thing off and threw it out of the car. That was an interesting one. Was not expecting that, but anyway, onwards and upwards, so... After the only Sparky in the group had a electrical fire, we then moved on to our next spot, Atui Creek campsite. This is just a stunning spot. I mean, I got no words to add to this. We were just very fortunate there was no one there, and holy moly, that view. After getting up bright and early, ignore the sun halfway in the sky, we headed on up to Pouto. After quickly topping these guys up with water, we headed down to the beach. Now, I have no idea what to expect on beach driving. I've never actually taken the patrol properly driving on the beach, so this is going to be a complete first for me. I have no idea if the weight's going to play to my demise. I don't know if the ZD's going to have enough power. We might be sweet, you never know. So, I mean, yeah, well, there's one way to find out, but nevertheless, we're airing down, sorting out some issues with the BT, and soldiering on up one of New Zealand's coastal highways, I guess you could call it. That is, of course, after the flex log. I couldn't resist myself, I had to flex up on the log. Anywho, it was time to cruise up the beach. Now, I wasn't expecting this, but these beaches were like incredibly long and flat and wide. It was actually really cool, like a bit of a coastal highway, but a short while later, we're in the dunes, having a bit of fun going up to our first hill climb. Now to get there, we first had to go across a little bit of a traverse dune. It was actually really fun. You sort of were scooting sideways in a way, doing a full drive skid. It was a random experience. Doesn't come across on video at all, but it's super cool. Right, and our first hill climb of the trip. First up was Dylan, showing us how it's done in the mighty D22. Ignore the beeping noise in the background of the video here. It was making a bit too much boost for some reason, but I just figured that's more power, so yeah, sweet as. that right there is a prime example of how soft the sand can get once a few cars have been over it. It just goes super soft and you can't get any grip, therefore no speed, so it's way harder to make it uphill. But we found a beeline instead. Turned out, this was also quite soft. So as a bit of a last-ditch effort, we decided to drop the tyres right down to 8 psi, and bam, it was like another car. Crawled straight up that hill. Now, on our way here, we heard a little bit of a side quest that there is a lake up here, and we thought, oh, perfect spot for lunch. So we took a random track that we thought might end up taking us to it. Turns out, this was a little bit more of a challenge than we thought. Yeah, turns out there was a fence blocking our path, so we'll have to visit that lake another day, or find another track, but back to the dunes to have a bit of fun. So I left the tunes blasting in this clip, and I don't really want to get copyright strike, so I'll talk over it in the meantime. But we're heading back down to try find the way out of this place to make our way back on the beach. We had sort of made it most of our way here at like semi-low tide, but not quite low tide. But the timing just worked out that when we actually wanted to go to Lighthouse, it was perfectly dead low. So it was time to head back to the beach and figure out our way to the Lighthouse and see what all the rave's about. On a bit of a side note, how crazy is New Zealand? We've got crazy mountains, cool bush, and crazy beaches apparently. What a beautiful spot. We're super lucky to be able to go on these places. Tell you what though, these beaches were like the smoothest thing I've ever driven on. It kind of makes our roads seem like real crap compared to what Mother Nature can do. It was pretty cool. We were able to cruise at some stable speeds, shall we say, and there were no wobbles, no bumps, no nothing. It was pretty awesome, to be honest. But anywho, you can see the lighthouse in the distance, and yeah, it's now time to scope it out and give it a go. Now, what you can't see here from the bottom is I got about halfway up and found a 4-meter ledge that I very, very nearly went over. So I decided to carefully back up and floor it around it. With the nav coming up, we've now made it all up to the top of the Pouto lighthouse. How epic is that view? For those of you wanting to learn the history of the Pouto lighthouse, I've paused it in this next clip for a few seconds, so feel free to pause the video and have a bit of a read. It's quite interesting. After having a bit of an explore, we decided that we didn't actually need to go anywhere, so may as well fry up some burgers and watch the sunset over the lighthouse. Just for it to disappear behind the clouds, but still an awesome view. Either way, it's time to find camp. There weren't really any good camp spots out here. It was kind of real weird to have a play around in the dunes at nighttime, but we sort of just picked a spot and hoped for the best. Waking up the next morning, we found a bunch of animal tracks on the ground. We didn't actually realise the dunes were so active, but it even looked like feral cats may have been out here. Either way, it was time to start heading on to our next destination. But it just adds to the experience of being in the car. Now, you're never going to believe it, I had the tunes blasting again, so here we are again. Hi guys. So whilst we're up here, we have a few tracks that we want to take off on the list, just because we never really come up north that often. So first up is the Takahue Saddle, then we've got the Gumfields track, and then 90 Mile Beach, heading all the way up to the lighthouse, because I've never actually been up there before. Now, you probably won't see most of that in this video, that will probably be in the next video, as I can't really put it all into one video, otherwise it will be like an hour, 2 hours long, and most people don't have the attention span for that nowadays, so I may as well make it into a few short videos that you can watch at Smokos, or, you know. But with the Pouto Lighthouse ticked off the bucket list, it was now time to carry on up the beach. Now, we accidentally lined ourselves up here pretty well for a certain activity. You can probably imagine what's going to happen next. Prepare for blast off in 3, 2... With 2 wins in the book, it was time to air up and head to our next destination. Now, the next track is pretty gnarly. I'll leave a few teaser clips at the end of this video so you can know what to expect. Also, forgot to mention, if you guys like these videos, please leave a like and a comment. It really means a lot to me and gives me inspiration for creating the next one. Either way, we'll catch you guys in the next video.